Hello, my name is James Hunter, and this is my 2 cents channel where I talk about topics from physical fitness, mental health, wellness, and topics I may just want to discuss. And today I'm going to talk about basically kind of like a response video or kind of like a Me Too video, if you want to call it that. I recently watched a video, Massive Iron, Steve Shaw, and basically I wrote the title up here. Does TRT keep you ripped year round? Basically, testosterone replacement therapy. So this is a topic actually, as a personal trainer, I've had this conversation a number of times with clients, friends, people in the gym when you hear the bro conversations and things like that. So before I think it's Greg Doucette, if I said his name right, and Jeff Cavalier with Athlete X, those back and forth videos as to whether or not, Jeff Cavalier's taken any type of whether it's steroids, gear, or TRT. I believe he's 44 years old, and so because of the age and so on, people started speculating. Myself, I'm 49 years old. I've been lifting weights for 37 years, started roughly after I turned 12 in my garage. So I want to talk about a few things here. So first of all, does TRT keep you ripped year round? I got some bullets up here for my outline. And I will say right off the bat, I have it here at the bottom with an asterisk, TRT is not a magic bullet. If I had a nickel for every time, I've had conversations, or younger people, or even people my age that I grew up with, that just kind of, they're not where they want to be. If they would say, well, if I was just get on a little gear or TRT, then, I could look like those guys, right? And they're not really making the connection in terms of the overall context in which fitness occurs, really. So let's talk about these 4 things up here first that really, these are not going to change. I don't care if you're on this flat out a bunch of gear for people that are, using high levels of anabolic agents like androgenic anabolic steroids, human growth hormone, peptides, whatever, you get the idea. Or someone who's on a therapeutic dose of testosterone between 100 to 200 milligrams per dosage. Some people I know do it 1 time a week. I know some individuals who do 200 milligrams once every 2 weeks. Everyone's situation's different. Most TRT clinics that I've heard of because of my friends who do this and people I know my age and older, it's typically once a week. There's other methods subcutaneously now. You can do it more frequently during the week for those who don't like intramuscular injections. But anyways, so let's get up here. Your diet requirements to achieve low body fat, I don't care what you're taking, what you're on. If you get on TRT, don't expect to look like Tarzan or a Greek god just because you're going to get to have optimal testosterone levels again, like when you was younger. The fact of the matter is that a lot of people don't quite ever fully understand this, is that your diet is going to dictate your body composition goals. So if you want to be single digit body fat, that's not going to change just because you increase your testosterone levels. Or even if you're adding in peptides like Somorelin, something that's going to help your body increase its own production of human growth hormone and so on. So with the diet, here is something that I will say that TRT will have a benefit, is that yes, TRT, as the name suggests, the anabolic part, androgenic anabolic steroid. Androgenic is like the male characteristics we get. That anabolic part is tissue building muscle. So yeah, if my testosterone levels are higher, yeah, that's going to have a benefit. I'm going to be able to build more muscle. But more specifically, if I adhere to my diet to get lean and get that ripped look, here's where TRT will help. And being on having optimal levels of testosterone is that you're going to be able to preserve more lean muscle mass as you lose body fat. That is an advantage. That's true. So the difference is though is that, or I guess the point is rather, is that you have to diet to achieve that ripped lean look. And you would have to remain on a diet 12 months out of the year to be ripped year round. Myself, I've competed in bodybuilding contests. You can look at my bodybuilding playlist I have on my channel. You can see me in my 40s. As recent as last year, I get ripped. And I'm probably, if you're going by skin folds in the caliper and various software programs, 4, maybe close to that 3% range. My abdominal skin fold gets to basically almost not, the 1. And then pecs, triceps, everything. I get basically the skin folds of the 1 or 2 mark. So I'm pretty lean based on those skin folds. Maybe 3 on certain parts of my body. I know I do it at all 7 locations, but you get the idea. I get lean, and that's achieved through diet. Now, I don't want to stay that lean 12 months out of the year, to be quite honest with you. However, the reason I'm mentioning is the bodybuilding example is that that's more on the extreme end. So I'm going to talk about how we carry muscle here in a few seconds, or about a minute. So we carry muscle differently each person. So therefore, you know, you don't necessarily have to be 4%, 3% body fat. Hell, you don't even have to be 5% body fat. You can be, you know, 8%, 9, 10. I've seen some people 11, 12 and look impressive. I know some people that, you know, like for myself, I can see pretty decent, you know, definition, you know, my obliques and abs without having to get to that 3, 4% mark or even 5%. Around 8%, yeah, I'm getting to where I look impressive. My back, you can see all the definition there, quads and so on. So this idea of what it is to be ripped, it depends on what your standard is. You know, so for myself, I want to, you know, feel good, have energy and strength overall throughout the year. So if I'm not competing, I don't need to be that lean. So anyway, so there's different standards on what you consider to be ripped. So whether you're on TRT or steroids or not, here's another thing you need to consider is our bone structure, how we carry basically skeletal muscle, right? So I believe my wrists are at least 7 inches. I've measured them on a different video. You look at my elbows, my ankles and knees and so on. If you look at really aesthetically impressive bodybuilders, Flex Wheeler, I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger in some of the movies when there's close-ups on his wrist, you'll notice his wrists are not super big, right? Even his ankles. So that bone structure that we have, and then, you know, you have that tighter skin. There's certain things that are just genetics, right? Those are gifts. We don't, you know, training doesn't do that. Our diet doesn't do that. That's just our bone structure and how we carry muscle. So some individuals who have a different, more blockier, bulkier type of bone structure, if you want to look at it that way, they at say 12%, 11 or even 10% body fat, they may not look as impressive as someone with a different type of more medium to small bone structure at the same body fat percent. They might have to get a bit leaner than that, and so on and so on. The more muscle you have, I've seen that makes a difference. You know, if you have more muscle, it's going to show easier when you start dropping that body fat. So these types of things are just variables you got to consider. You know, if you want to have a goal of being ripped, right? So I'm going to give some anecdotal stories or just some examples I've seen of individuals, which I feel, you know, they're representative of reality. And I'll talk about that here before this video ends. So, all right, I mentioned genetics. Metabolism is something else. At 49 years old, I still have a pretty good metabolism. As soon as I become adherent to a disciplined diet, and if I stick to it, in 4 months, I'm going to be pretty impressive. I mean, I'm going to be lean, ripped. I'm going to see my abs. You're going to see the Christmas tree on my back when I do the back double biceps and so on. So that, yeah, I'd say that's, you know, in part it's my genetics. It hasn't slowed down too much. Other individuals just have slower metabolisms than others. People that are on TRT often may be taking something for their thyroid, you know, because that thyroid, hypothyroidism, and some people have hyperthyroidism. So that may need to be managed or regulated to help the metabolism be in a more optimal situation. But just to go on a little tangent, I know individuals who blame stuff on the thyroid, my metabolism too slow. At the same time, they're eating greasy cheeseburgers every day, right? So even if you get on medication to manage that, and now your thyroid works the way it's supposed to, there's no excuse. And even if with a slow metabolism, adherence over time on a diet can still get you there. All right, training and exercise, your program design, right? So your higher activity level and the workouts you're putting in, you're still going to need to put the work in the gym, whether you're in TRT or not. I know individuals, they're ripped year-round, if you want to use that word, but if you look at what they do, you know, the strength training, they may be doing 5Ks, they're doing a lot of cardio type stuff, very physically active, people who do a lot of swimming, biking, and running, and lifting. I know people like that. They're hardcore, and that's their lifestyle. they can get away with eating more calories because of the the expenditure of energy that the demands they're putting on their body every day. So that's something to factor in. That doesn't change just because you jump on TRT. TRT does help with the nitrogen balance, things that are favorable to building muscle. It's going to help with protein synthesis. It's going to help with recovery. It helps, right? But you still got to put the stimulation on the body. You still got to train. So TRT is not a magic bullet. So let me kind of give some examples here. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm a personal trainer, and I've worked with clients as a personal trainer. Sometimes I've done it full blast, full time, and sometimes I've just done it part-time, depending on where I was at in my life. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor, so that's my other job. And I've done both situations throughout my life in either direction to different extents. So working with people is a lot of time with the diet, as I mentioned in my other videos. A lot of it is changing lifestyle, behavior, way of thinking, the relationship with food. So I will get men in their 40s. Had this one individual, good guy. He worked out and trained hard. I gave him a nutrition plan, a diet. Basically, it's if you follow it, you're gonna start lowering body fat. There's just no bones about it. It's gonna happen if you stick to the diet. So explain to him the macros, the whole breakdown. Got a different video on that. So the point is, this person was contemplating getting on testosterone replacement therapy and asked me pretty much like what I thought about it. And this was at a time where I was prepping for a bodybuilding contest, so I was lean and pretty impressive in that regard. So this individual was like, I want to see my abs, right? I want to go to the beach and take my shirt off. I had a younger wife, good-looking lady, good-looking couple. And so this individual said, no, should I get on TRT? Well, my standard response is, that's between you and your doctor. I don't tell anybody that they should do anything. I don't give any advice or recommendation in terms of something that should be decided between a person and their doctor. So this individual went and talked to their doctor. The doctor, I think they went through a general practitioner. My opinion is go through someone who specializes in TRT, HRT. Anyways, this person went to their general practitioner, got prescribed some testosterone cypionate, and started taking 200 milligrams a week. And this individual, they started up increasing. You could see a difference. Their chest was getting thicker, arms got bigger, his arms got bigger, and so started getting a bit stronger. This was over a period of a couple months. So what makes me feel vindicated, not in a I told you so way or trying to be mean, but vindicated in that the part about the diet. Because I explained to this individual that TRT is not a magic bullet. You still need to adhere to your diet. So this individual essentially was eating too many starchy carbs, wanted to drink wine at night as part of the ritual that he would do with his wife. And I said, look, if you want to drink wine every night after you eat dinner, you can do that. That's fine. That's a lifestyle choice. But don't expect to have a visible abs and that you're going to get ripped and lean. So this individual, after being on the TRT, it was as evidenced by the fact that he could not still lose the stomach. He still had some kind of a bit of a pooch there, a little belly. So he was healthy otherwise, but he's not ripped. And TRT did not magically make this individual ripped. So what he learned is that, there's no escaping reality in terms of what works. It's like gravity. I talk about in my other videos. Gravity does its thing. It's what it is. Don't make a shit or it doesn't matter what I think about gravity. I can say there is no gravity and I'm going to jump off my upstairs deck and float. I can think that all day long. The reality is if I step off the deck, I'm going to fall, bust my ass on the ground because gravity don't give a shit what I think. It's going to do its thing. And likewise, the laws in place as far as what works with diet and then the human body, the metabolism, bioenergetics, and how that works, positive energy balance, negative energy balance, eating just for your needs, and so on and so on. That's always going to be what it is. And you can't fake it out. There is no, hack for that. You're going to have to stick to your diet. So TRT is not a magic bullet. And I've seen this situation with a lot of individuals, TRT. I've been working out 37 years. I've been quite a few different gyms over the years. So I've been in the culture, I've had the conversation, seen the people between powerlifting and bodybuilding. I know a lot of individuals who, yeah, they actually, did gear, if you will. They took steroids for performance purposes as young men. And then later in life, they stepped down to just therapeutic doses of TRT. And they, so I've seen a lot of individuals who are on it, and there's a lot of variability. So if genetics, just like anything else, you're gonna have some variability in terms of response and what you get out of it just based on your genetics. And that's gonna be true if you have everybody staying natural, not on TRT or steroids. You're gonna see individuals with favorable genetics respond quicker, better, more favorably to weight training, strength training, and their diets, right? So you get on TRT in the general population, same thing. You're gonna have some people benefit from it a lot better than others, and that's just the way it is. So if you wanna do TRT, I don't, my opinion is, I don't think there's anything wrong with people who do that. It's like if a person's thyroid is low, or they have an issue there, what do? They go to the doctor can prescribe medication to balance that situation out to get your thyroid to work the way it needs to. I know another individual that I was helping, he told me a story that he went to his doctor, and the doctor kept on telling him he had low testosterone. This gentleman is in his 50s, thereabout, and basically the doctor is saying, look, you're going to have a heart attack. Your testosterone is that low, it's dangerous. He's like, I'm either going to give you a shot of testosterone in the doctor's office today before you leave here and put you on TRT, and if not, I'm going to hospitalize you today. That's how concerned this doctor was. So it's something that for some people, it can be a serious health issue. For other individuals I know, they were kind of like on the threshold of the lower range of testosterone levels, not necessarily on the extreme end, but they were on that threshold. So for them, it's about being as optimal as they can in the higher ranges and quality of life. And that's okay too. I don't blame them. Nobody lives forever. So who wouldn't want to have strength, energy, feel good, and physiologically and physically just be your best for as long as possible? So what are your thoughts on this? Have some of you kind of encountered this if you're a personal trainer and you work with older people and they think that TRT, it is a magic bullet, when in fact it's not the magic bullet? You still have these variables that I mentioned that are always going to be in play. Yes, TRT, 100%, it's going to help you. No doubt it's going to help you. But it's not by itself going to get you that aesthetic, Greek god, chiseled look, and so on and so on. So I made this video because I just wanted to kind of, follow in line with some of what Steve Shaw's video was. That this conversation kind of started a little bit in part because of the Jeff Cavalier with Athlete X, and then the Greg Douchet individual. Those videos, the back and forth about whether he was natty or not, and if he's on something. Personally, I don't care if Athlete X is on anything or not, or natural. It don't matter. If you look at his bone structure and look at the way he's built, and then he works out a lot, he's a disciplined individual, obviously. So it's not a far stretch for me to believe that a 44-year-old guy can still look impressive. I've seen a lot of men in their 40s look impressive and not be on TRT. Some people just have genetics where they produce high levels of testosterone, higher than others early on in life, and then continue to do so by comparison to the general population. Those people do exist. It's what it is. So have any thoughts or comments, drop them below. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it. I appreciate the support. I'm going to continue to make videos on topics of physical fitness, mental health, wellness. If you have any suggestions about a video you'd like for me to make on any topic, just drop it in the comment below. I'll be glad to see what I can do about that. Until I make another video, have a good day, and take care of yourself.